Welcome back. Here we go. China is at the front of the line with its digital yuan under several pilot programs that have been highly successful, by the way. And we also have breaking news from Coinbase and Flare Networks and the Spark token. And what does it all mean when we're 6 to 8 weeks away from regulatory clarity here in the States, according to Brian Brooks? And does any of this have anything to do with a price set of XRP? Let's roll that beautiful intro and find out.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. Shout out to Michael Val, 5 Links, and everyone who sends information to us here on the channel. We are greatly appreciative of each and every one of you. China is definitely at the top of their digital yuan, which is already under several pilot programs in different provinces of the country. The U.S. is currently working on the research aspect, while the U.K. is already with a model seeking feedback. Now, first, let me just say this. There's no question here that this is where we are, right? I mean, I think there's further work that has been done and decided in the U.S. I can't speak to the U.K., but they've certainly been a leader in getting the regulatory framework built out on this space. What I want to bring into the idea here is when I was at Swell in 2019, last year, not this year's Swell, last year's Swell, I asked a question to Dr. Rajan, former IMF governor, about XRP being a global reserve bridge asset. However, he answered the question as if it would be the global reserve currency as the US dollar. I could have framed my question a little more clear, but I did have a chance to follow up with him. But I want to play this 1-minute clip to you of me asking this question to Dr. Rajan last year in 2019. Hear his response, and I want to share something with you from that conference when I get done playing it for you. So let me play that clip for you right now. And by the way, this is from Cryptonaires, the documentary film that Dustin Plantholt, myself, and Mike Jansen are working on. We are in the final stages of editing the film, and it is going to be done very, very soon. It is long awaited by us and many of you, and we're so grateful for everybody who has been a donor to the film and a sponsor to the film that we are going to be so excited to bring this to each and every one of you. We cannot wait. It's so exciting. Anyway, let me play this 1-minute clip here for you guys, and then let's talk about it after.
The idea of the old concept of the banker coin and a neutral asset being in place of a global reserve status of the dollar, and possibly that being XRP.
You know, what you're asking for is whether there's a possibility of a global currency, and to some extent that's what Libra was trying to do. And as I understand it, that's different from what XRP is trying to do. And the reason is as follows. As soon as you go to maintaining the value, right, some kind of stable coin, a whole set of regulatory concerns get triggered. I have to make sure that there is corresponding financial or real assets backing this notional value that they seek to maintain.
Okay, there it is from Cryptonaires, and I cannot wait for you to see that film. But coming back to this idea, after I asked that question and after he responded, I kid you not, the entire place of all 800 people that were there erupted into applause that I asked that question. The questions and comments that were going on before I asked that question were beating around the bush, and I said, you know what, let me have that microphone. I'm going to go ahead and ask it. You know, and when I did, a certain person got up and left the room, and I was like, wow, you know, I wonder, you know, if they were upset because the person was at Ripple, and I'm not going to say who the person was because it was an off the record conversation. But the reality is I went out and I was like, you know, Am I wrong to ask this? Everybody in the conference is asking these questions, but in a more subtle way. I mean, and I actually intended him to answer the question as XRP being a bridge asset, not a global reserve currency, which I followed up with Dr. Rajan later after that conference had ended. I had actually met him when he was getting into his car and expressed that to him, and he smiled at me and said, well, if you had asked it in the manner of it being a bridge asset, as opposed to a global reserve currency, I would have had to answer that slightly differently. And he smiled at me and got in his car and left. And I just thought that was amazing. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that whole experience. I'm so grateful that Ripple allowed us to attend that event. But what the person had told me is that, no, you weren't wrong for asking it. In fact, what are the options that are available? To use the Chinese yuan and everybody be under control of communist China and the money being tracked and all by communist China? I mean, or to use an asset that was created by an American company to alleviate the stress on the fiat world and the global reserve currency of the dollar. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what that person said. And it just blew me away that, it's like we read so often in articles, it's about all the money. We hear them say in interviews and larger conferences that it's about all the money and many different things that tell us, it's about a bridge currency, or Chris Larson will say it, or they want the liquidity of a G10 currency. And all of these things we hear, they feel so far away, even though they inspire us as investors and holders in this space. But when someone tells you that right to your face and you're really standing there, the impact of it is pretty profound. It's pretty profound, I must say. It has not washed off me yet. So now let's move to the Coinbase news. Coinbase is now made an announcement that they are going to participate in Flare Network Spark token airdrop with less than a week left until the event. Man, oh man, oh man, this is extremely exciting to me. First of all, you guys know that Mickey B and myself had Hugo from Flare on this channel and spoke with him and had a great conversation about the Flare network and the Spark token and the airdrop. And I'm extremely excited about what Flare is going to be able to do and what they're working on doing now. And look, I think it gets much bigger than just to simply say it provides more utility to XRP, the asset. Oh, it sure does. I mean, it's pretty limitless, to be perfectly honest with you, what Flare can do, because they have a two-way bridge on and off the XRP ledger. And we know that they can facilitate smart contracts and derivatives and all these other things, which, by the way, we are going to have Mickey B. Fresh on this show this coming week, and we're going to go down into the particulars about what to talk about and think about going forward with Flare Networks and Spark, because it's so exciting. So huge moment that Coinbase is honoring the Spark drop for Flare Networks. Now, we are more than 50 exchanges now. More than 50 exchanges, and Coinbase being just absolutely enormous here. And you can see a list in iTrust Capital too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Who doesn't love iTrust? They're amazing. And here's the thing: they're taking a snapshot in a less than a week away of the ledger. Excuse me. So they're taking a snapshot of the ledger in less than a week, December 12th. Martha Costins is the person who invented the naval flare, right? And what does a flare do? It lights up. It signals something. In some cases, a rescue. In some cases, a celebration. A flare could be, right? But nevertheless, a flare, that's where they got the name, and they cited that they used Martha Costins as the inspiration for the name, and she invented the naval flare. Well, I just think this is pretty remarkable because, again, as Digital Asset Investor says, words mean things. So you have this signaling that's taking place. Let's call it a signal. The flare is a signal, right? I don't think it's a bad signal. I think it's a good signal. And when you think about that, you think about the fact that it's a Polaroid. They're taking a Polaroid right there of the XRP ledger for Flare. That's how intertwined they are going to be, right? That's how important I believe Flare sees XRP, that they need to take a snapshot of it because they're rewarding holders of XRP. So they really see XRP holders as very, very special people, is what I see. Now, adding to that, this is Cumberland DRW Company, a subsidiary thereof. Now, let me just say, and courtesy to Mickey B. Fresh for turning me on to this particular piece of information from Cumberland, a DRW company. Let's talk about them for a second, and we're going to look at something that Mickey B. Fresh sent me, which I find to be extremely compelling. Cumberland is a global leader in crypto assets. We provide access to the financial institutions and high net worth individuals that need to capitalize opportunities in the crypto asset space. If you get down into the FAQs, let's just take one look at the FAQ here, which is, who is Cumberland? Cumberland is a LLC of DRW, a global leader in crypto assets. They provide access to financial institutions and high net worth individuals need to capitalize on opportunities in the crypto asset space. So they're institutional and high net worth clients. That's what they deal with, right? Institutional OTC, over-the-counter trading, right? They're not selling to you and I. It's large institutions or high net worth clients. Now, what I find interesting here is Mickey B sends me this, and I almost just like fainted because, I find it extremely interesting that DRW Cumberland has put out this. Cumberland County counterparties on Saturday, December 12, 2020 at 00 UTC, the Flare protocol will be taking a snapshot of the XRP addresses for a potential airdrop of Spark tokens. We believe the best practice in this situation is to halt OTC trading of XRP at 2300 UTC Thursday, December 10th, and resume once the airdrop is complete. After trading is stopped, settlement of all outstanding XRP trades must be completed by 2300 UTC Friday, December 11th. When we believe the event has passed, we will restart XRP trading. We will determine support of any trading of the airdropped assets at a later date. Thank you for your cooperation. Please reach out with any question to Team Cumberland. Shout out to Mickey B. Fresh for sending me this. I want to stress to you that they are talking about a OTC trading halt of XRP on the Cumberland exchange. They are not talking about a stopping or a holding or a halting of the XRP ledger or the DEX, right? That's not what they're saying. They're talking about their platform at Cumberland. And it appears to only be the OTC trading and not the actual exchanges that you and I are using. So the thing to keep an eye out for is whether we see individual exchanges as we get closer to this date possibly do the same thing. And if they do, is it mutually exclusive to think that there could be a price set to XRP somewhere during, after, or sometime after? What does the snapshot really mean for Flare? Brad Garlinghouse has said we don't speak for Flare and we don't make decisions for Flare. But Flare is hugely concerned and in an opportune way to provide a snapshot of the ledger to reward XRP holders. What is it they know about XRP holders that we don't yet? Well, I think all of this is positive wherever it goes. But remember this. We just covered this 2 days ago. Brian Brooks was just on CNBC. And listen to what he says here specifically in this spot.
But what we do need is clarity about what's allowed. And so we need some guidance, for example, about whether banks can connect directly to blockchains as payment networks. The answer has to be yes, right?
He just gave you the answer. Can banks connect to blockchain networks? And the answer is obviously yes. who in the hell else do you know who has been working with the banks? In fact, I don't mind telling you, it's XRP, right? It's Ripple. And we're going to hear that in a second.
We needed answers about, can banks custody cryptocurrency so that institutions felt comfortable adopting? And
we know that answer is yes.
Saw what happened when we gave that clarity. So you have clarity across a variety of areas that I think you'll be seeing just in the next 6 to 8 weeks, which will make it easier for crypto investors to know how to invest, to know how institutions can be in this asset class.
Over the next 6 to 8 weeks is going to be a lot of clarity to show you how it will be easier to understand how to invest and how to see these things that are in front of us. And one, the way to see them is that they are protocols, they are actual payment networks, and if they have use case utility, you're probably going to want to look into them even further. But that's not financial advice. That's just my personal perspective. Now, looking here, what else do we know while all of this is happening? Ripple launches push to make XRP Ledger integral part of central bank digital currency movement. Brad Garlinghouse said on the Frank Chaparro podcast, and shout out to Frank, he said, we do know central banks are looking to issue stablecoins off the XRP Ledger open source technology, which means they could contact Ripple or they don't have to contact Ripple. If they want help, they contact Ripple, the blockchain infrastructure company, to help onboard them. That's why Ripple is now seeking to hire a senior director to help with the onboarding of central banks and helping them issue their central bank digital currencies off of the XRP ledger. We know that. He said that. That's not our opinion. Then there's this from the Bank of England back in February of 2019, Victoria Cleland. She talked about the executive director of banking at the Bank of England and payments and innovation said, I expect a big bang cutover because what you have with the RTGS is the core ledger. Supporting payment transactions worth hundreds of billions of pounds a day, and we can't have some members on it while others are not. After talks with the Bank of England internal IT department, it is likely the bank will keep the existing system up and running alongside the new one for a period as a fallback. So if there was any problem, we know we could recover back to that, said Cleland. She did go on in this article later to say that we're not ready and it's some time away. But the reality is she's expecting a big bang cutover. And I have to say, when I look at the idea of more than 50 exchanges now participating in the Spark Drop and Coinbase, one of the largest, if not the largest exchange, it's pretty compelling to me. And seeing that the Cumberland over-the-counter trading has decided they are going to halt over-the-counter trading for their particular exchange, not the XRP ledger, because you're not going to halt the ledger. But as Mickey B. Fresh pointed out, and again, we are going to have Mickey B. on this week, and we're going to get further down into a lot of these topics about the benefits of Flare, and I think there are many. And we are going to discuss these ideas and these notions about what we could be seeing come out of this. But one thing I want to leave you with is I am beginning to feel and lean into the notion that the idea and the snapshot of that XRP ledger and the airdrop of the Spark tokens could potentially be tied into the regulations rolling out in 6 to 8 weeks in the United States, which would set it off internationally, because we all know that they're waiting for the U.S. clarity. And that may trigger an event like what Victoria Cleland pointed out of a big bang cutover. And if that happens, might we see the collateralization of all of the central bank digital currencies from central banks launched and issued on the XRP ledger, collateralizing indirectly the ledger with the utility and the fiat reserves that back the actual stable coins, giving a price floor, or otherwise known on this channel as a price set, of XRP while remaining an open, decentralized asset to the world and quickly becoming, in a synchronized moment, the bridge currency for the entire planet. I don't know about you, but that's where my head is today. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. All of this is my speculation, by the way. Shout out to Mickey B. Fresh. I cannot wait to get you on the program this week and have a further discussion about all of this. And make sure you hit the like and subscribe, share with somebody you know, hit the notification bell, and whatever you do, check out the links in the description box and the comment section. I use all those products and services. There's plenty of things in there for anything you may want or need, and they are trusted links. So make sure you check them out. I will catch all of you on the next one.